And I'm live. Hello. Welcome to this week's Tip Tuesday. I am wearing a hat today because I was going through, my dad actually was going through some of his stuff at his house. So it was like, if you don't want this, I'm throwing it out. So I was like, this is super cute and I never wear hats. So I should wear hats. So this is me changing that. So you might see me wearing hats from now on more often. So today, the topic is the state of SEO. Again, actually, that should be the topic. The title, the state of SEO in 2023. Again, so I talked about this last week. If you are not watching this live or if you missed that video last week and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can go ahead and just go back to my channel and find that in my channel. It is called the State of SEO in 2023. This is the State of SEO in 2023 part 2, because there's so much to talk about. Could not possibly get to it all in one video. So here's part 2. So what else did we learn about SEO in 2023? First and foremost, create quality content for your audience. I say this all the time, and I am so grateful that this survey proved me right, because all the people who responded to this survey, it was literally more than 1,000 SEO strategists who were filling out this survey from all over the world. Most of them were here in the US, but there were about half of them from other places in the world. So they are not all, not exclusively, but most of them are investing in creating quality content for their audiences. And I love that, because that's what I'm always saying. What can we do to make Google happy? We need to figure out what Google wants. Google wants to make its users happy. Its users come to Google, they're looking for information, they're trying to find something. Google is just trying to help them find what they're looking for. That's it, pure and simple. So if you can create content that your target audience is looking for, you're going to be golden. And make sure it's high quality content, because Google is also getting better and better at determining high quality content. So make sure it is good content that a real human actually wants to read, not just a robot. So people, SEO strategists are finding this more and more, that the quality content that is actually getting results for them is what's really winning the day with their content, their SEO strategy. So what are some of their proven strategies? Content. It is not just about content. It's more, it is about content, but it's getting into the weeds with it. It's trying to figure out, who's coming to your website, what's the data on the people who are coming to your website, how are they finding you, what search terms are they using to find you, or if it's not an organic search, are they coming to you through social media? If so, which social media platforms? How are they engaging with your content? How are they engaging with your website? Learning all of that can teach you a whole lot about your audience, and then you can create more effective content that is even better at engaging with them, keeping them engaged, leading them to that next stage in the buyer journey, so you can convert them at least into a warm lead and hopefully eventually a client. So getting all that data, the fact that SEO strategists are more and more focused on getting that data and using it in their content marketing strategy and their SEO strategy, awesome. Love it. I think it's golden. I also find that this is what people have said is working for their content marketing, for their SEO strategies. Some of their proven SEO strategies, content. It was their overall content marketing strategy, followed by topic clustering, which is part of content marketing, link building, long tail keywords, and competitor replication, which I love. Long tail keywords, obviously a huge part of content marketing. If you're not sure what long tail keywords are, a short tail keyword is 1 to 2 words long. A longer phrase, such is going to be like 3 to 5 words long. I work with a lot of financial planners here in Chicago, so I would use the example of divorced women Chicago financial planner, or financial planner in Chicago. But that's a really long tail keyword that's also really specific. So people are not looking for tips on what to do with their money when they get divorced. They're not looking for what is a financial planner? What do they do? How can they help me? They know they need something. They know exactly what they need, and they are actively looking for it. That is an awesome keyword. So on the one hand, you're going to get fewer people searching for that. But on the other hand, if you can get those people searching for it to click through to your website, much higher conversion rate because they are ready to buy or they are seriously considering thinking about buying. Competitor replication, I also love. So never, ever, ever just like copy and paste your competitor's content because A, rude, B, it's not super effective. It's at that point you're attracting their target audience instead of your own target audience, which ideally should be a little bit different. And if Google figures out you did that, it can at the very least downgrade your content. If it finds out that you're just copying and pasting from other websites, it will it could potentially blacklist you, and you don't want that. So don't do that. But you can look at what your competition is doing and kind of reverse engineer it. So if they're covering a topic, does it make sense for you to cover that topic? If you find them using certain keywords in their content, does it make sense for you to target those keywords or a related keyword? So absolutely keep track of what your competition is doing and replicate when necessary. Don't copy, that's different, but reverse engineer and use it for you when you can. So what is holding you back? Some of the struggles, what is not going well in SEO, and what people really had to say about this was obviously rapid onset of new technologies. AI is a big one. I think we all know that this means the generative AI software like ChatGPT and Bard. Of course, there's more technology that has been released in the past year, but that is a big one. I also find that this is a big one because people, more and more companies are investing in content marketing and SEO. So the field has just gotten so much more competitive. So that's a big one, is that people find that it's harder and harder to rank for any of the keywords that they're targeting, which is part of what forced me to up my game as a content marketer. But the other one is just the fact that there's so many people trying. Oh, and then not getting as much traffic from organic search. So actually, despite the fact that that's our main goal, is to try and get traffic from organic search, people find that's not happening. So that's something to keep in mind as well, that it's just getting harder and harder to do that. So keep that in mind. Google updates, we talk about this every 3 to 4 months when Google has a major core update. First of all, again, keep in mind, Google is constantly changing its algorithm. It is like that river in Pocahontas, right? It's never staying still. It's always moving. It's always changing. But about every 3 to 4 years, it's a major update. It's like a waterfall, right? Like there's the little bit of river movement, and then there's like, oh crap, now we're going through the rapids, right? That's what we've got with the core updates. So we talk about that a lot. I thought it was interesting that most of the SEO strategists actually find that the core updates benefit them and increase their ranking in the search rankings, which is awesome. And again, I think this goes back to content. I think the SEO strategists who find this are the same ones who are really investing in their content strategy, understanding their audience, analyzing the data of their website traffic and what their audience is doing with their website and their content, so they can get even better at creating content that is targeted to them and really effectively resonates with them. So, and like I said, that's all Google is trying to do. In theory, I think Google, like anyone, can mess up once in a while, but in theory, each update should be getting Google closer and closer to figuring out how people look for information, as well as getting better and better at figuring out what makes good quality content. What is the content people are looking for that is actually going to help them answer their questions? So I don't think that that's a coincidence that the people who are investing more in their content and finding their content strategy to be effective, a huge part of their effective SEO strategy, and the fact that they're not really worried about Google updates but benefiting from Google updates, I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing both of those things in this survey. Common misconceptions about SEO. I think if I had been asked this question, my top 2 would be that SEO is one and done, or I can rank for keywords overnight. Maybe not overnight, but within like a week or 2. I definitely have people asking me about that. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. The people surveyed said their top misconceptions that they get about SEO were that SEO is a quick fix. Yeah, I've heard that. SEO is all about keywords. Black hat SEO tactics are effective. SEO is easy. Don't think I've ever heard that one. That might just be symptomatic of who it is that I'm working with. SEO is all about rankings, SEO is all about link building, or SEO is only for Google, which I think is interesting because I do frequently give the caveat when I talk about SEO that mostly we're talking about Google, right? Because it does own like 90 some percent of the online search market, which is not to say that you should only be focused on Google, like your Google My Business profile or Google Analytics, and that's all you need for an SEO strategy. It's not. You need other tools. And you do need to do other things that are not directly related to Google, like being on social media, because Google tracks that too. So, and of course, there's Amazon. Amazon has its own. Bing is also increasingly huge, especially with virtual home assistants, those little computers everyone asks questions of, right? Google has its own, but Google is way behind in that market. The Alexa is the one that's really owned that market so far, and that uses Bing and Amazon. So it's not using Google at all. So people who are using that aren't using Google. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Which brings us to the metrics you are measuring. What metrics are you measuring? Most professionals said number one was CTR, which stands for click-through rate. Are people actually clicking from their organic search rankings to their website? Branded versus non-branded traffic, which I think is awesome. An excellent thing to track, because branded traffic is when people are looking for you. They're searching either your company name or some keywords that you really want associated with your company. They're searching for it. They're looking for you. So that kind of gives an idea of your mind share. Versus non-branded traffic, they're looking for your service. They're looking for information on what it is that you do, on some services that you provide. They want to know a little bit more about, like, what does this type of professional actually do? Do I actually need to hire this professional? That's what they're looking for. That's non-branded traffic. So I love that SEO professionals are breaking this down into branded versus non-branded, because it's super important. Are people discovering you through search engines, or are they using search engines to find you when they already know who you are? Because that's a big difference. And that, again, gets to understanding your audience and how are you getting in front of them. Keyword rankings, obviously qualified leads, because what are we doing if we're not getting qualified leads, right? Obviously, that should be a huge one. That should be first, I think. And organic page views. So that's what people are focusing on. Link building do's and don'ts. These, I love this. So link building, again, if you're not familiar, that's when another website links back to your website from their website, and preferably in their content. They can do it on the back end, but preferably should be in their content, linking back to some content that you created. This is awesome, for organically just kind of naturally driving traffic to you, because if someone else is reading that and they go, oh, this person is referring this website and it has more information about such and such over here, I want to know more about that. They're going to click through. Now they know a little bit more about you. Awesome way to grow your audience. Google also loves those backlinks, we call them. It's a great way to make sure that you are an authority in your industry, because it's not just you saying that you know what you're talking about, it's other people saying you know what you're talking about. So link building strategy is super important for SEO. The kinds of link building people are focusing on, I thought it was interesting that social media was at the top of this list. It can be a great way to build backlinks. I just wouldn't have thought of it first. Next up, alternative media, video, infographics, other tools, etc. The EEAT, I talked about this in the last video: expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness. Those are the four main things that Google really looks at to try and determine, what your ranking should be. Comparison pages and broken links. Broken links is my favorite way to get backlinks. You go to a website that's on a related topic right after you've published a blog post. You look for broken links on there. And then if you find one or more, you can reach out to the website administrator or even the author of the article and say, hey, you have this article on your website. It's about such and such. You have a broken link. I just happen to have recently published a blog post about that very thing. Here's the link if you want to use it to replace the broken link. So you are alerting them to a problem they may not have known that they had, while presenting them with a solution to that problem and making it super easy for them to fix it for themselves. Excellent, excellent way to build backlinks. So that's my favorite. All right, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. It is finally time to talk about AI. I was going to say alternative intelligence, and that is not what AI stands for. So what does this mean? What is AI doing in the world of SEO? First of all, do we think it's going to help AI? Actually, more than like 3/4 of respondents said generative AI would help their SEO efforts, and less than 20% said it would hurt their SEO. So we had about 5% who were like, that's not really going to change much of anything. I'm personally still skeptical of AI's ability to help me create content. I don't see that it is hindering my ability to rank in relevant searches. On the contrary, I think because we have so many people at this point creating crappy content, it actually makes it easier for me to stand out from the crowd. And we know that Google is, we know what Google has said, that it doesn't love AI generated content, but we also know that, Google created Bard. Google uses a lot of AI in its own algorithms. So how much Google is really standing by that, I think should be taken with a big grain of salt. My big concern with SEO personally, or with AI, with AI when it comes to SEO, is that people are using, and I thought it was weird this did not come up in the survey, but I'm concerned that people are using AI like ChatGPT as a search engine when it's not. It's not a search engine. I don't know how much we can really blame it for the fact that it gives wrong information, because we all know you can Google something and get wrong information too, right? That also happens every day. The problem is when you use ChatGPT as a search engine, it gives you one answer. You don't have a chance to compare and contrast, right? I had this when what was I looking for? I was looking for some information about taking care of my dog, and I can't even remember what it was, but I found, 3 or 4 articles that all said the same thing. And then there was one article that contradicted all those other 3 or 4. But because most of the ones that I found agreed on, like, this is the best thing to do for your dog, I was like, okay, I'm going to go with the most common answer here rather than the one holdout. So that is not something you can do with ChatGPT. And again, ChatGPT wasn't designed to be a search engine. It was designed to be a chat bot, hence ChatGPT. So that's what has me worried. But yeah, I thought it was weird that the SEO strategist interviewed or surveyed did not say that they were really worried about that. They are excited about their ways that AI can help them fulfill a number of their SEO tasks, producing titles, creating meta descriptions and alt tags at scale, grouping keywords and topics, creating schema-structured data markup for technical SEO needs. I love all of that. But again, with all of that, that's the caveat that you have. It all comes for me with the caveat of you got to have some human oversight there. So, for example, grouping keywords and topics, we've seen it mess that up. We've seen robots be like, these things go together, and they really don't. So just be sure to double check its work once you do anything with AI. Which brings me to my next point. How will SEO strategists use AI? A bunch of them said creating content. You know how I feel about that. I also thought it was weird that a bunch of them said using it for content audits, which I don't know if I really trust a robot to effectively do a content audit for me, just because, and again, we know Google uses AI to basically do content audits, right? It uses it to see if your content is effective and relevant and high quality content. So I do believe it can do some of that. But again, I'm always going to want to check its work. And I don't know how to check its work with a content audit without just redoing it and doing the whole content audit myself from scratch. So it would be great. Don't get me wrong. Content audits are super time intensive and labor intensive. It would be awesome to have the robot just do it for me. I just don't know if it's feasible. So that is it. That is everything that I have for you today. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts about using AI to do content audits, I would love to hear about that. Because seriously, it would be great if it could be done. I just don't see how it can. So that is it. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.